We are here to talk about our tournament for Putters League Championship this Saturday, July 15th, 2023 at 9 a.m. We are playing the Chattahoochee Gulch course. They've got two beautiful courses here, the Doubloon Lagoon and Chattahoochee Gulch. Tom is here from the AMA. Thanks
Hello.
for putting this together and filming this. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a very quick walkthrough of the tournament. So if you are coming Saturday morning and you can't practice, or if you're coming today, at least you have a little bit of an idea of how this course plays. Follow me.
And this is, I believe, built by Castle Golf. You can see that there's going to be bricks on the walls, and then you have these organic rocks on the side. And just give you a quick little scan of it. It's got this, what would you say, like kind of old southern town
So
vibe?
what this is kind of a throwback to North Georgia. A couple hundred years ago had a gold rush, as many cities did. There's a city further north of here called Dahlonega, and they had a really big gold rush. So this is kind of a throwback to that era, to that area. But yeah, cute little town. Let's have some fun. Thankfully, as I said, it's July 15th. Today is Thursday before the tournament. Fortunately, there is a little bit of shade out here. It's 9,000 degrees right now.
Hot.
So
I'm not on camera right now, but I definitely sweat through some shirts. Let's see one. And tell us about where you can start too.
So that's why, so as you mentioned, it's a brick course. The area here is brick around the lane. You have rocks and a few other little features. There's not too many things like windmills and stuff, but cute little buildings. The tee mat, we've been asked about that. So you can actually use the tee mat. There is one on every hole. You can use the little dots here. You can put it up here, whatever. We also utilize on the front of the lane, on each side up into the 1, 2, 3rd mortar line of this brick. And you come across an imaginary line to the 1, 2, 3rd mortar line on this side. So this tee mat on hole 1 is all of this plus the actual tee mat, and you're able to use all of that space.
Generous place to start, gives you a lot of options to set up. And frankly, nothing on this course plays better or worse for lefty versus righty,
That's
which
right,
is nice.
yeah. It's a very ambidextrous course. And it's a little forgiving. There's only a couple holes that might jam you up. And a couple of quick things before we start. I don't have one on me, but you get a full scorecard, the length of the scorecard open, relief from the walls, a rock, an obstacle. If you are behind an obstacle, you cannot use that to get a clear path to the hole.
You can use your own putter.
You can use your own putter. We encourage that. You can use any ball you want. In this case, I'll be using a Callaway Super Soft, thanks to the AMA. Look at that logo. Yeah, there's no surprises. If you've played competitively before, you recognize a few of the shots. But let's go through this one real quick. We won't putt all of them, but for hole 1, I typically start 1 foot from the left side. And there is a small hill on the left. I'm not sure if you can see it. And the hole's further down on the right. So what I do is, it's hole speed. I know that sounds ridiculous because what's not hole speed? But I shoot it parallel to the wall, and it'll kiss off that hill and kick it towards the hole. Let's see if I can make it. Might be a little fast, but you can tell, yeah. I cooked it. That's a little spicy.
We're not trying to show you the perfect shots. We're just kind of giving you a flavor for how this plays.
Yeah,
just ignore any. So there is mulch surrounding the course. That will be all blown off and cleaned up before Saturday, and that's how you get an easy 2.
And there's a deuce. Yeah, there's no surprises here. I mean, hole 2, you can actually shoot this one left or right side, about a foot off, or even in front of the tee mat on the left or right side. You're going up an incline. It levels out towards the hole. Doesn't need a lot of speed. There's a small berm behind it that you could roll back off of it, but even if you get beyond that berm, it's a pretty straight deuce putt.
Yeah. So I'm shooting this angle so you can kind of see it going uphill. I like starting on
you know what? I'll hit a ball
side.
up there just so you can kind of tell. Like I said,
I like the right-hand side just for not having to stand on the walls, but you can see, you get a good pace, and that one's looking like it's turning in.
I almost made it, actually.
But you can see.
And it went over the bump. Yeah.
kind of see here.
You can
I'll
see.
show you the deuce, that there's like a little bit of a hump.
Hey, use all the hole. So then we go to 3. Hole 3 is a little similar to that one, except the incline is much shorter. And the instead of a bump behind it, it's a rock that can kick you over to the left. Again, this is a shot. You can play a left or right side, a foot off the wall, and just aim at the cup. So, yeah.
And this one, you just don't want to overhit it, because if you hit it well past that rock in the center where the cup is, the ball will end up in some places where you actually won't really have a second putt. And it can also come back a little bit.
Got lucky there.
But yeah, if you get it left of the hole, all of this, you can see where there's like a spot where it can hide behind that rock, and you have no shot at the cup right there. So be careful on this one. Just get it right up to the cup and drop it in. You're not playing off any of the walls. You can get some nice bounces off of this rock right there, but ideally just go right in. Yeah, off the side walls.
Hole 4 is where it starts to get a little tricky. This one's pretty fun. I mean, hey, look, you hit the rock, it bounces over to the hole. However, if you hit it too hard and you go just past the hole, it runs off and goes downhill on both sides. So we always try to get to close to the right side. There's a spot right down here that we like. You can see where this rock gets a little darker, and the dark spot kind of rises up here just a little bit. This is kind of what we aim for, as we've discovered. If you get a little bit wider kick and you come over here, this side of the mat kind of slows the ball down a little bit, and it is totally aceable. But again, you get too far past the hole, and it's going to wash out down there into the rough.
Walk through them. Yeah.
Hole 5, this is a fun one as well. This one can be really easy, it can be really fun, and it can also ruin your scorecard. As we've all saw yesterday. We typically try to start as close as you feel comfortable to the right side. I typically use, this is the toe, right? I call this the toe. I try to use the toe of my putter. There's a couple of shots here. You can bank it off the rock. And as we get closer, when we do the walkthrough, you'll see where it'll bounce off the brick. It goes downhill, hopefully into the hole, but there's a couple obstacles down there. You can also from here putt it just to the right of this left inside corner and kiss it off that inner brick too. I'll just hit it and see if I can do it. Barely caught it. That's bad.
No. That's good.
Oh, hey.
That worked out pretty nicely,
so you can
actually.
see this comes down here. Problematic cup on hole 5. This on this side of it here, and on the front side, the lip is a little taller than the turf.
Let's have you back away for a second, Brian, so we can see it. I got your shadow in there. We can kind of get in there. You can see it's a little up, and there's some breaking around the cup. So just
I'm going to hit it soft just so you can see the effect of it hitting that lip. I'm in the shadow there, so I'm going to back up a little bit.
That's okay.
It actually went in, but sometimes it'll actually kick out and go over here into the rough, or the sand trap, for that matter. That's hole 5. Hole 6 is a very similar setup to what we just saw. You want to get as close as you can to the right side, and we're aiming about 6 inches to the right side of this rock. You want the ball to slowly. Hole speed is tricky on this because this is all downhill. You don't have to hit it that hard, but you want to aim about 6 inches to the right of the rock. It straightens itself out as it comes over this bump, and then it comes up this little, this is kind of a wide volcano kind of thing, and it's got a drop pocket here. So what you want it to do is just roll up here, and then it'll roll right in. Very aceable hole. A lot of times you end up back here, or even if you hit it too hard in the rough, and all these putts are quite straight. So, I mean, you can also go down here. I've never seen it happen, but you usually end up back here. These are all pretty straight putts.
Yeah, and I would say on this one, my one piece of advice is you're better off being over hitting the cup than shorting it, because the ones uphill are going to be a lot
I
trickier
agree.
than the ones behind it,
Yeah.
which are pretty straightforward. Another tough one.
This is Tom's favorite hole. You've got a lane. It eventually goes downhill, but it's a double bank shot. So you're double banking off the first one off this rock at the top of the lane. It hangs to the left, goes downhill, hopefully hitting the right spot on the bottom rock, and then come this way towards us, back towards the hole. This is usually a deuce. You do have to give it some good speed.
Yes.
I'm going to hit it just so you can see.
I would agree. The speed has
start about
been
a
my
foot out.
issue. I didn't think you'd have to hit it as hard, but you do have to give it a little bit of a shot. Ooh.
And see, that's what happens if you overhit
If you
it.
miss it,
If you miss it, you go behind the rock. Okay,
And
let's shoot it again.
and if you miss it pretty badly, you might lose like a really good
Yeah.
line at the cup for a second shot.
I'm going to hit this one pretty early so you can see.
Yeah. So he hit it a lot early this time.
You can
see
still, yeah.
I've been aiming, after Amanda had showed us yesterday, more the middle of the rock, right about there. And some of these putts below do break, so you really have to play them.
Yeah, from this side, these break to the right.
Yep.
As you can see, it went right.
You want to get as close as you can, stay out of trouble.
So then we go to hole 8. This is a fun one. This is very challenging. I call it the optical illusion. You want to start a foot in front of the right side of the tee mat. And this gives you your best chance of putting the ball between that rock on the left and these wooden posts on the right. And this is all about speed and not hitting the posts. The rock will give you a little bit of forgiveness. The post will not. But with the right speed, the right direction, and your Wheaties in the morning, and there it is. Don't do that. Unbelievable. That's why I call it the optical illusion.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it, right there. Hopefully I did not just give away my aces for the tournament.
And you can see around the cup here where we do have some issues with a little bit.
There's a little bit of bunching
Yeah.
bubbling up here. Most of these putts here are also straight, including out of the rough. Totally aceable hole. This is where you can really get your scorecard looking good. Hole 9, now we're halfway through the course. This one has seen a little bit of abuse just because of the weather we've had this summer in Atlanta. It's all uphill until you go over this bridge. You want to have good speed, then it comes down and can go straight to the hole. There is a little bit of a bump here. But if you get behind it, you're not too far, you're not too much in trouble. From the rough here to the cup, it's pretty quite straight.
Yep.
And honestly, like Tom, where you're standing, which is the apex of that bridge, you can see some damage from the turf, but it honestly has not affected our shots yet. So, yeah. And then, hey, we're halfway through the course. Hey, how you doing? As you can tell, we're here in the middle of the day and the Fringe is a busy place, even in 90+ degree weather. Hole 10 is a really interesting shot because from the tee box out, it drops down about 3 feet past the rock, and there's a hole that's still on the decline, so your ball is rolling.
Yeah.
Some of the balls, like the Chromax or some of the really lightweight golf balls, have a problem going into this hole. It's totally aceable. We've done it with Chromax. We've done it with some of the novelty balls. Some of the house balls, we've done it. But we always start about a foot from the left side, aiming here, usually at this dot, and you want the ball to kind of caress its way down through here. When you're here, you'll actually be able to see kind of a groove in the lane. One thing that's one mistake that's easily made is being intimidated by this rock, and you want to push it. Well, this lane starts falling off here, all the way down to the right side. Now, with enough speed, we saw it yesterday, where Amanda came down here, banked off the rock, and ended up right by the hole. But the shot the best shot we've seen is where you aim toward the side of the rock, it comes nicely down through here, wiggles its way right over this ledge, starts coming down this decline, and a lot of times goes into the cup. If not, don't worry about it. You're going to end up right about here, and that's an easy deuce putt. Hole 11, this is also a fun one. Now, don't get me wrong, if you overhit this ball, it can go anywhere on the receiving end of the lane, but usually you end up within 2 feet of the hole.
Yep.
You can start this shot. I go back and forth, right side, left side, as does Gary Hester. But at the end of the day, you want to give it whole speed, and you want to be within about 8 inches of this rock. And it's going to roll over, come down yet another hill. Typically what's going to happen, you're going to miss the hole on the left side. It's going to come over here. This looks really scary, but it's actually your friend. It's going to bounce back, and this bounces back very straight. A lot of times you end up here. We've seen some aces off this shot. Worst case scenario, you end up over here. We've seen some weird stuff happen, but usually you're, like I said, you're within 2 feet of the cup. This is not that bad. Not like we'll see over here on this one. So hole 12 is, I don't know, 70% incline from the tee box, and you've got a couple obstacles. And even when you get past the main incline, it's still uphill. So you have to give it some speed. You don't want to lag it. You don't want to give this one away. But all of the deuce putts are pretty easy.
We're going to jump ahead of this group, and we're going to go to 13.
Hey guys, how are you?
Show how this plays.
Yeah, so hole 13 is a really fun long hole. I start about a putter head off the right side. And you want to give it, you don't want to just want to tap it, you want to give it enough to get going down the hill. And you're aiming at that black pole at the trash can. What's going to happen, this ball is going to go down. It's going to glean off that hill just below us, straight ahead of us. It's going to take a right, hit that berm, and start moving to the left. What you can't see from here is there is a ridge on the left side as there is on the right, but it'll gently kiss off that and start breaking toward the hole, a lot of times going in.
We'll just keep this angle. Great 80s playlist if you're hearing any of it from the mics at the course constantly. You can see those ridges. That one's going to drift to the right side, which have had to happen. And you hit it harder than you think, which is really easy to do on this hole. You can end up pretty close to that ridge back there, which makes for a feisty deuce.
Yep. Everything back here putts straight. All the stuff back here breaks right.
Yep.
Then we get to the bottleneck, hole 14. You can call it the pipe hole, the slot machine, what would you call this?
I don't even know. Like, it's a ramped hole.
It's annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying, and you really have to make sure you just nail the line in the shot. I actually moved over to the right dot, or just in front of the dot on the tee mat, because you can't really get a spot on the turf because it's inclined in an angle. You can kind of see Bryan. You want to hit it right up the middle.
Oh!
And getting a really unlucky result. So I haven't seen that one yet, but essentially you just want to keep it in the box and just tap it in and show what happens, because
so here's what's happened.
There's 2 places where it comes out, or 3 places. It can filter down over here if you underhit it. There's a left and the right side of the middle box. Oh, and then there's the middle box, which kicks you out this hole. The left and right ones kick you out that, and you automatically go down. If you hit the middle box, it's not guaranteed actually to stay up by the cup. And I found everything next to the rock is breaking towards the rock and downhill. So if you are behind that cup,
I'm putting this in
you
the right
really
box.
want to aim out the right edge. So here's coming out the left side, and you can see you're going to have a lot of positions where you really are just laying up at that point. You have no direct shot at the cup. You can play off the bricks, but all this organic rock stuff is just fussy. So you really just want to get it there, and again,
it's a layup shot.
This is all going to break to the left of him, and you can see that right there. So you're going to aim at that when you're facing it, you're going to aim at that right edge.
Yep. Hole 15 is pretty self-explanatory. We've shot to the left of this thing. We've shot all over the place. The best shot is literally just inside the tee box, middle of the tee mat. Good speed. It is up an incline, but you're, you know, even if you hit it just a little too hard, it's going to gobble up some of that speed. You're going to bank off this rock somewhere in here, and this is, believe it or not, super aceable. There's a lot of even mistaken aces here. It's great. And then again, you end up 2 to 3 feet. I know 3 feet sounds like a lot, but all these putts are pretty straight. Yep.
Yeah.
Hole 16, this one's very fun.
Volcano.
Huh?
I said volcano
We
time.
got it's an incline, there's a bump, and then a volcano. This one can disturb the force very quickly.
It's really easy to leave this short, I feel like.
So I try to start about a foot off the left-hand side.
It looks like it's got a good speed, I think.
Oh, way too much speed. A lot of times if you lag it, you end up over here, which is really difficult deuce putt.
Yes.
If you still lag it, it can go back off this, sorry, there's a bump here. So it can go up the hill, come back and go over, but sometimes it saves you for a nice, easy deuce putt. But from back here, these are also typically really straight and easy deuces.
Go right at the cup.
And then 17.
Another tricky one.
This one's pretty interesting. So you've got an incline, a long plateau. It goes down a hill, back up a hill towards the cup. But if you hit it a little to the left of the cup, it goes and falls back down another hill to the left.
Yep.
Let me putt this one or?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Hit this one. This one, your speed is really interesting because you feel like you need to get it uphill for this first part, flattens out, and then it goes downhill. So if you're really hitting it fast, it's just going to cruise through this little valley on the other side, which doesn't give you a great chance at an ace and potentially kick yourself back downhill. So that one,
Yeah,
it's going to sit up there. It'll
Totally aceable hole. I didn't ace it, but I typically start, I'm still messing with it. A putter head off the right side, 3/4 of a foot off the right side, and hit it parallel with the wall. I made the mistake of pushing that one. You can see we go up the plateau, down the hill, back up the hill, and hopefully I'll knock this one down the other side. But you can see, if you do miss a putt up here, it'll happen.
Yep. Well, can go down there.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that your tee-off box is also at an incline when you start.
Yes.
So there's only so far up you can start, but there's a good deuce uphill. You just don't want to short it. You can start hitting that ball up and down. And so you can see our last hole here. It's a skee ball jump shot, which is fun for the public, but for a tournament,
Yeah.
Brian, we're not using that.
We're not. So we're going to cruise over to the practice green.
So this is right near, in between both the courses, you can see the check-in area. They got a putting green here with 3 different cup placements.
And you'll see us tomorrow. We'll actually be set up right here. So this is the area that we use for hole 18. The setup place, which we will have marked with gaff tape, happens in the corner of the seam of the carpet right here.
Yep.
And the seam of the carpet right here. It is about 12 feet from the hole.
I'd say even a little less, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe so. So out of that seam, I start about a putter head up towards the sidewalk. And as you can tell, this is up on a massive hill, massive volcano, but it's flat up here. There is a little spot inside the cup on the left inner side. That's kind of the aiming point that we've been using. This hole's really fun. It's challenging. It can be an ace pretty easy. It can be a deuce pretty easy. And it can also be a 7 really easy. You don't want to chase this thing back and forth. Come on, baby.
That's
I got
So that's a
lucky.
nice
It
one
did
to
not
sit.
go over the side. Yeah.
And you should show, so to the right of where you're seeing this video, throw a ball down there and show them how tough
yeah.
those breaks are. No, below the cup.
Here?
No, on the backside.
Yep, yep,
So
yep.
the backside putts are really tough, and they were talking about if it's more to the right than where the ball is right now, other
here?
way, other right, my right, that this putt breaks severe if you're facing
Yeah.
the cup right. So you're aiming like at least a cup out, and you need to hit the right speed. And what happens is you can do that. And so show it like Gary Hester, who's won tournaments on here.
Yeah, so
He
won.
takes his medicine.
Yeah, basically. He's really good at case management, course management. What he's done here, because this thing is such a wild break and so erratic, what he'll do is just, you know what? I'm going to line myself up for success. You may take a 3 here, but it could be, like I said, it could be a 7. And there you go.
Yep.
You now have